Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game Week 20 Wildcard Draft. My name is Ryan from the Football Chatbox, and welcome to the channel. Now, I've got a Game Week 20 Wildcard Draft up here on screen with about, at the moment, based on my chance team value, I've got about 1.5 in the bank. You might have slightly different, but I don't think money should be an issue for most of you who are wildcarding in Game Week 20, although that would depend on how many premiums you do own. Whether you have Salah and Son as well in this draft is a different story. Now, let's start off with the goalkeepers. I've gone for Neto and Areola as a combination. You could probably go for more in terms of goalkeepers. Like I think few keepers that you can look at is we've got Neto in there because Bournemouth will have a I will have a double upcoming. So you kind of want to target that. We don't know when. Ideally, your wild card will your first wildcard, because this is your first wildcard, it'll be about 10 to 12 weeks until you play your next wildcard. So I've gone until Game Week 32 here, which you can see. Your other keeper that you could look to get would be Rhea, possibly, is another good keeper option. Now, Rhea and Neto, as you can see, they do rotate pretty well, at least a decent amount. I've also got Ariola in there. It depends on mainly because it depends on your squad value, right? Your squad value at times, if you have certain different players, might be a bit too hard to have two very expensive goalkeepers in both Neto and Rhea. That's why I've got the West Ham goalkeeper in there, and he also rotates decently, to be honest. If anything, he also rotates decently with Neto. So it's up to you who you want to go. You could go slightly differential in Martinez as well. Some decent fixtures in there, but I think in terms of value, I do like both Neto and Areola as the goalkeepers. If you don't want to do rotating keepers, you can probably switch Areola out for a Turner as well. But I think you never know when that keeper situation can change again, to be honest. So I'm okay with these two as my goalkeepers. In defense, I've gone for Gabriel, Pedro Porro, Trent, Casto, and Estupinan. Yes, back with a goal. Uh, for non-wildcarders, I wouldn't go there. Wildcarders, I think you can take a risk on Estupinan. I think he's a great differential. If I was to add Brighton in here as well, the defensive run, as you can see, until game week 28 at least looks pretty good, except for the Spurs game and the West Ham game. Now, I have to accept the fact that Brighton haven't kept a single clean sheet so far in the season. And yes, because of that, he is a risky differential, but still can get attacking returns. And that's basically what Estupinan offers. Attacking returns, no defensive clean sheet. So it depends if you want to go that differential risk option or not. I think Trent is probably the best option with when Salah leaves for Liverpool to get into Liverpool's team from a asset point of view. Pedro Porro, we saw yesterday 2 bonus points, lost the clean sheet as well, and that was after conceding 4 goals. Still managed 2 bonus points. He's got what it takes to offer attacking returns and bonus. Instead, if you didn't want to go for him, if you thought he was expensive, I think another good option, I will switch this to defense. I think Walker is another really great option for anyone who's looking. If you didn't go for Neto as a goalkeeper and you want a Bournemouth defender, Senesi is another really good shout as well. Um, he's at 4.5 here. Then you could also go for, I think Saliba is too expensive. I think Gabriel offers a way better value because I feel like Saliba is slightly too expensive. You could go for an Aston Villa defender in Moreno or Konsa, but I feel like City and Villa are very similar teams where they have good defensive numbers, but they do tend to kind of concede a bit. From a Chelsea defensive point of view, to be honest, I've got here Gusto. You could have Colville already in your team, which is fine. I've gone Gusto. He could be a player that you'll eventually look to sell if Reece James comes back, but for now, he will probably start and an attacking fullback as well. Ideally, I want attacking players in my defense. Since clean sheets are very hard to come by. You want as many attacking players as you can get in your defense, and 4 out of the 5 are very attacking players. Any other defensive options? I guess you could go for the Luton keeper. I'm the Luton defender in Doughty. Who is a differential if Luton do double, but I think Luton's double will be a bit of a hard one. So it's up to you if you want to go there. We mentioned Kyle Walker. If you want Newcastle defense, go Dan Burn, but I wouldn't really recommend at the moment. If you wanted another enabler apart from Gusto, Branthwaite from Everton, I do like Brandt. I have him in my team. Branthwaite. got some decent fixtures. You can play him in the decent fixtures, and he should be able to get you a clean sheet. And they do keep a clean sheet. He's generally on 2 to 3 bonus as well, depending on how many goals Everton score. So that's the defensive options for your wildcard. It's up to you where you want to go. Midfield. Now, this is where the questions remain in terms of. Actually, let's go to the forward line before we go to the midfield because midfield is where everything can change. Forward line, I've gone Watkins and Solanke. I think those two are someone you would want. I think 3-4-3 is probably where a lot of wildcarders in terms of formation are going to be going there. If you still want to play a 3-5-2, then it's a different story. But I think Watkins and Solanke are probably the best available forwards right now. The third pick is where the differential happens. Now I've gone for Julian Alvarez because of that Sheffield United game, and Alvarez can switch to a Haaland later in 21. It's up to you in terms of how you want to 21 or even 22. But I've gone for Alvarez right now. I don't think Alvarez, if on a non-wildcard, I wouldn't go Alvarez. I think KDB being back means Alvarez is a very short-term pick. At least that's what I think. So Watkins and Solanke. If you didn't want to go Alvarez, you could go Nkunku, which is still he hasn't hit the ground running, but there are few fixtures there still available. Um, Chris Wood just scored a hat trick as an option, but honestly, I just think these three at the moment seem the most sensible one. Gabriel Jesus, but I don't think he's a great striker in general for FPL points. So these three are probably where I'll go for in terms of my forward line. And then the midfield. Now this is where the questions remain, right? Now I've had Salah in there. Now you can go without both Salah and Son in this wildcard if you wanted to. But I thought might as well get Salah in for that Newcastle game. Newcastle is still looking defensively shaky. Salah could be a pretty good option. I've got Foden in there because we will have a double coming up. Depends whether you want to use the free hit during that double or not. But City's fixtures in general are actually still pretty good as well if you were to look. So pictures aren't too bad as well, to be honest. So I think City Foden should be a pretty good shout. I've got Bowen in there. You could have have someone else if you wanted to, but West Ham's fixtures are good. The thing with Bowen is he ticks over, but he doesn't get that massive haul with bonus. That's the only problem with Bowen. But if you're happy like a ticking over player, I don't mind him as well. I've got Palmer in there. Some of the wildcarders might not have Palmer, but I still think he's a good option. If you want to go risky, you can go without him because the fixtures, I think, after game week 24 do turn. It's up to you whether you want to have Palmer or not. Um, so I've got Palmer in there, and then I've got Saka. Now the reason I've got Saka is because this team I had value in Saka. If you don't have any value stored in Saka, I think you could probably sell. To be honest, he's not really pulling up trees from an FPL returns point of view. Although he's the numbers he posted against West Ham, he should have had at least a goal, at least one goal. With the numbers he was posting, like the chances he got, I think he should have had a goal. So I'm keeping Saka in because I still think probably Arsenal's best second option right now for the moment. So I've gone Saka, Foden, Bowen, Salah, and Palmer. Now, there are other options midfield. If you don't have Saka and you don't want to go Saka, Odegaard is another option. You could also double up on Saka and Odegaard as well. And you could also go Richarlison if you wanted to. Now, I'm thinking Game Week 21, we move Salah to Richarlison when Salah is gone, and that gives us the money potentially, if I'm not mistaken in here. If I go Richarlison, I don't even know how to spell it. Oh, I'm looking at defenders. No worries. My bad. So if we switch this to Richarlison, right? What do you meant for? 7.6 in the bank. Switch Alvarez to Haaland. Have enough of money in the bank. That is what I was thinking. You probably have less money. You might have more money. It depends on how you want to approach this. Now go back to Salah here. So that's something you can do. Also, the other options in midfield, I would say Brennan Johnson is a slightly different option compared to Richarlison. If you didn't want to go Richarlison, but I still think in that Spurs attack, Richarlison scored 2 offside goals as well. Should be one of the best options to go forward. Um, Pascal Gross from Brighton. With Brighton's upcoming run, we've spoken about Pascal Gross could be a good option. And if you don't have budget, where would you go? Well, Garnacho is one as an option because of United's decent run. Although I'm still not fully convinced on United attack. Now look at that run; it looks pretty good, right? So Garnacho could be an enabler. I'm still, even though they won 3-2, I'm still not convinced on United's capabilities of consistently attacking. If I see that they change, then maybe it's a different story, and then I think Garnacho becomes a really good option, not only as an enabler, but also one of the fifth choice midfielders you regularly play in your starting 11 in your FPL team. Elanga could be an option, but as you can see from the fixtures, I don't really like it from a enabler point of view. Then there's Wolves, Sarabia as well, but you can see it's not as great. So probably it's Garnacho if you're struggling for funds and you need funds. That's probably where I would look to go. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Have I missed anyone? I don't really think so. I think I've covered most of the players you would want to have. Um, but yeah, this is 1.5 in the bank. You should be able to complete it as well. But I've given you a couple of differential options as well that you could go that is slightly different to this team. You don't necessarily have to pick the exact end of the day wildcard. Take a few punts if you want to try and climb rank, especially if you're looking to try and climb rank. Take a few punts. Like in this team, Estupinan is a punt. Take a few differential punts that will help you not be too template and have a few low on players that have high ceilings, like an Estupinan. In a midfield, you could have someone different as well, to be honest. Like instead of going, if you say Palmer, okay, it's only 4 pictures left out of the next 5, and then you're like, okay, maybe I want to go someone else instead of him. That's a possibility. Maybe you go someone else instead of Bowen as well. So up to you in terms of how you want to approach it. But yeah, that is the Game Week 20 wildcard team. Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. If you're new, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. And I will be there live for the deadline stream, the Game Week 20 deadline stream, 1 hour before the deadline, ideally. So that's the plan right now. So make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. My name is Ryan. I'll see you all for the deadline stream.